Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Full Pelt Music Podcast. I'm delighted in a moment to be chatting with Snake Eyes following the release of their stunning debut album, Cash Rich. But before then, if you would, please do follow Full Pelt on social media. We're on Facebook at Full Pelt and on X and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. Now it's time to get on with the interview. Let's go. Welcome to the Full Pelt Music Podcast, Snake Eyes. We've got Jim and Tom from the band. Really delighted to have you on. Yeah, really been looking forward to this one because obviously you've been putting out a steady stream of singles for a few years now, and playing a lot of live shows. So I've been someone that has sort of picked up on you a while ago, and obviously been looking forward to getting something a bit bigger from you coming out. And I get to talk to you now in the aftermath of the release of Cash Rich, your debut album. How delighted are you to have it out there in the world?
Very delighted. It's been a long time coming. I think the album one is usually one of those things for bands. It takes quite a long time to pull the thing together. Um, but it's beautiful, and I don't like to listen to our music, but I listened to it the other day in the van in Brighton, and I had an emotional time. It's quite a journey, and we're proud of it. So yeah, very stoked to have it out in the world.
Yeah, it is a bit of a kind of time capsule for the band. Because obviously, some of these songs date back, sort of the pandemic era. I hate talking
Mm.
about the pandemic anymore. Yeah, it's long gone now. But for yourselves, is this as well an opportunity, as you say, you got quite emotional, Jim, an opportunity to just reflect on everything that you've achieved so far as a band?
Yeah, 100%. As in, you're like totally right. Songs like Daydream was written in lockdown. Uh, Slugs was about the first flat I moved into when I moved to Brighton, and it was a basement, and there were literally slugs on the floor. And it is very much like a snapshot in time, and it is very reminiscent. And like you say, as in, Daydream is about looking at how far I've come and how far we've come, and just taking stock of personal progress. And the album definitely is that, as in it is a crazy, like you say, some of the songs are a bit older, some of them are new, and it's a mad thing. Yeah. And obviously the creating thing, you're so close to it, you can't see it for what it is. And so with it coming out and it all coming together, um, it's been awesome. As in I can now appreciate it properly, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, and especially you're a very DIY band in everything that you do, every aspect of what it means to be a band in 2026. You know, you're very, very involved in it. Same with the creation of the record. So, I mean, how have you found the reception to the record since it's been out? And obviously, does that give you, given how much input you've had, obviously, into your own record, a sense of vindication as well?
Yeah, I think so. It's been super pleasant and like without just being honest, there's been lots of, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 9 out of 10, lots of very high, not that it matters, but I think it is validating that lots of blogs and places that have been quite critical of what we've done so far have really like understood this release and really been very kind and very, gone into a lot of detail. It's kind of interesting, like knowing what we know about the songs and then reading back someone else's, how it's been interpreted by someone else. But yeah, on a personal level at least, Jim shies away from the reviews and things like that. He wants to leave that be. But I'm intrigued, and I like to pull the nice quotes and put them on our Instagram story and do whatever else. So yeah, it's been the day the record came out, to get the music video for the kicker finished, I stayed up literally all night. I like slept for a couple of hours on the sofa when I was really, really struggling, and then like woke back up, laptop back on lap, And yeah, I had to catch myself a few times that day, like, you know, seeing people's comments and messages and reviews coming in where I was like a bit sleep deprived and like, you know, proud, but also like exhausted. And yeah, I was yeah, it was an emotional day.
I can only hope to imagine. I mean, yeah, it's there's like you say, with editing the video through there's so much now that feeds into being a band in 2020. You know, it's not a case of let's just record some songs and go and play them live. You're forced really to do so much. And I mean, I can completely understand, Jim, why you would avoid looking at all the reviews and that, because I mean the only opinion that really matters is yours. You know, you've made that music ultimately for yourselves, so you know what you think of it is more important. Obviously, it's good if the fans obviously like it. You know, that's always a positive. You know, in the press, yeah, you know, I speak as someone that would allegedly be called press. You know that, you know, our voice shouldn't matter too much. But you're right. I mean, obviously, like, my review for it was of the top sort of stars, and I know I've seen a lot of others that are as well, and absolutely right that it is because you know I put myself as a fan really more. Say I've picked up on you. I think I first saw you supporting maybe the excerpts probably
Mm.
4 years ago, something like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And obviously seen you quite a few times since, and obviously the journey that you've been on has been fantastic to see. So you know, Cash Rich really feels like the culmination of that, and just a real sort of milestone for the band. And I'm obviously sure you echo that.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I think that it is ultimately it's got to be something very personal. It's a privilege that there is anybody listening to it and that anyone is relating to it and feeling excited about it. But ultimately, we do it for us, as in, you know, it's it has to be. It can't be. And that's sort of the reason that I don't read too far into reviews because I sort of don't want what other people think to dictate what we're up to. I sort of want to be in this little bubble while we're here and to just do supposedly people, anyone who's into what we're doing likes it because of what our little noodles come up with. And so I don't want that to be interfered with, if you know what I mean. Uh, but it's been, you know, a blessing to get lovely messages from mates and family and people that I've never met before, getting sort of, yeah, peculiar messages pop up on Instagram and stuff. And yeah, it's been a joy. We've traveled. We start the Cash Rich tour tomorrow, and we've traveled up to Newcastle because the first date is in Glasgow. We finished rehearsals at 3 in the morning last night, so it's just been full on. So I'm a bit dazed and confused. I apologize, but yeah.
No, well, I mean, yeah, again, the effort that you go through to be able to do what you do is fantastic. I mean, that's a hell of a drive up because I believe you're Brighton based, aren't you?
That's
So I mean,
right, yeah.
I'm a Newcastle fan, so I tried to travel up there for the football, and I mean, I'm sort of East Anglia. It's bad enough for me. I mean, for you, yeah. So I mean, yeah, you must be knackered.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, appreciate you being able to come and talk to me about these songs because you know, for me as a fan, there's some songs here that really started to mean so much to me. And you touched on one, Jim, earlier, actually, funny enough, that I had the note down just to ask you about, and it is Daydream. You know, if it comes towards the sort of sort of a third through the album, I guess. I'm trying if that's the right English for it, you know. And it for me, sort of really is when the album starts to really bed in. But you know, the song itself is just one that just really resonated with me. So I just wanted to ask, you know, what does that song you know mean to yourselves?
To me, that so looping back a little bit to the kind of album being built over time is very much as songs were written, they'd come my way and I'd be like saving that one for the album. And that was like one of the first ones that it was like, I don't want to just like chuck this out as a single or an EP that whilst the band is still early days might just sort of kind of, you know, be under the radar. So that was one to me that resonated particularly. And I'm a big fan of all things like shoegazy and kind of those kind of vibes. So yeah, that was an early like this needs to stay for the record, and we can just put that to one side. So yeah, I'm a fan. What about you, mate?
Um, it's so hard. It's a weird thing with these songs and with all songs because with some of them I could put myself, Skeletons, for example, I can remember exactly where I was when that idea came. But with lots of the others, it's just kind of a snapshot. I know the flat I was living in and stuff because it was lockdown and that, which was right on the seafront in Kemp Town, as in we were looking over the sea. It was a mad, mad flat. Miss it, but I can't. Just to look back.
Hmm.
I can't place where all of the songs came from, as in I can't really remember. It's all quite hazy. Um, and it's weird because you can't remember writing it or where it came from. It kind of speaks to me more, and it is a reminder. The whole idea was remember how far you've come, because everyone has good days and bad days, and it is very important to realize progress. Do you know what I mean? Um, I moved to Brighton in 2019 just before the lockdown, wanting to start a band. And now we get to tour the world playing these songs, and it's a real privilege. And I'm a little rocker. And for me, I like Hug Me and The Kicker. They're my faves from the album. But the sentiment of Daydream, I'm a Daydream, is important. And I like having songs that remind me to sort of, appreciate things. Do you know what I mean? Um, so yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of a theme throughout the album, in a sense of, I give a lot of credit to bands that are willing to write about things that are important to talk about, be that personal issues or mental health in general, or obviously just the dumpster fire of a world that we live in now, and a lot of the issues that are going on there. Because again, a band in 2026, there's a lot of pressure to almost not do that because, hey, if we're going to be successful, we don't want to alienate like these people. So, I mean, for me, credit for yourselves being willing to sing and write about, the topics that you've covered across not just this album, but your whole career thus far. But you do it in a way that is, as I say, really engaging for a listener to get into. But I guess it's because you talk about some serious subjects, but in the style of the band musically, sonically, is one you can have a lot of fun to, So you listen to these songs and you're sort of rocking out to these songs, or you're absorbing these songs, and actually, beneath that is some serious message. And I think you've just on this album delivered these songs in such a unique way, that it was just something that really sort of struck me. And I don't know if that's something that's conscious that you're aware of that you're doing that, been able to sort of do that, or yeah, it's I don't know your thoughts, perhaps.
Um, so I'll let Jim answer,
Mm.
but the short answer is in the lead up to the point where we started playing in this band, Jim and I have both played in bands that took everything very seriously, as in the lyrical content was deep, but also like it was very just, everything had to be, kind of mysterious or quite like, we took it very seriously and felt it should be taken seriously and it should be portrayed in a way that was serious. There was no fun element to it really. Or like, one of the bands I was in started off as being fun and then we're like, oh, this is confusing because the songs are really deep, but we're being a bit too fun, and then maybe we should be more serious. And actually, weirdly, the fans were like, "What about those fun YouTube videos you used to do?" And it was like, "Oh," no. And now we're like, "Oh no, I don't know what the right thing to do is." So there was very much like a precedent around this band that it should be more lighthearted, it should be more fun, it should be like more relatable in a sense to other people. That it's like it's not too deep. Like, you play guitar, you can get up and do what we're doing, as in, like it was supposed to be like anyone can do this. It's not supposed to be technical. It's not supposed to be like super, super thought out. It's supposed to be relatable to my man over here, my lady over here, my person over here that plays guitar, that plays drums. They can get up and they can do it. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of where we started off at least.
Yeah. We just want it to be fun, especially with the live show. We want people to walk away and be like, "That was wicked. That was fun." As in the band and music is a vehicle to express yourself and to put what means a lot to you into it. Because I don't want to make music that I can't resonate with. It has to be something thematically important. But ultimately, we want to make people have a good time and make people happy, and for the end result to be positive, a big thumbs up. And to be for it to be cartoonish, to be colourful and vibrant, and yeah, I even down to sort of deciding on the album cover, like having an electric blue. You know, the blue needed to be really eye-catching. Always thinking about if someone wanders into a record store and they've never heard of our band, that they'll pick up the record because it is so striking, you know. And it's like all of that stuff is important down to what we wear on stage, what we wear in the videos, like um it all matters, but it's all love and it's all done for fun, and we're here for a fun time and not a long time. And we want to make people feel good because they make us feel good when we go and play gigs. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of punk that is angry, and I don't know if it was a conscious decision, but we decided to go against that. And we're not really like punk, but in the punk sphere, we wanted it to be uplifting and still try and touch on stuff that's important to talk about, but not be shouting at people. Be like it'd be more of a conversation. It'd be more like a we're in this together sort of vibe, and that's what we've kind of carried forward, I think.
You've absolutely articulated that so much better than myself. I mean, that's what I was getting at. You've struck this fine balance perfectly, pretty much, between being able to deliver, songs that do address some serious subjects, but in a way that is allowing the listener to escape from that, from the world that we live in, and actually just have fun and enjoy music for what music should be, but like I say, still be able to touch on it. So yeah, I really really appreciated that with the record, and yeah, one of the things that you've delivered that really well through like another medium. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to music videos. I grew up, before school, after school, watching music videos on TV. Krang and Scars and MTV. Used to love sitting there, and you'd see like Billy Joe of Green Day, and you'd be like, oh, I want that haircut, or someone else that I'm gonna dress like this guy, and it helps connect you with a band on another level. And sadly, in 2026, it's a bit of a dying art, and I don't. Sometimes I interview bands on this podcast, and I go, right, let me find a video that I can talk to them about, and I look and I'm like, oh, there are no videos. Thankfully, that is not Snake Eyes. There's plenty for listeners. There'll be links in the bio. Go and check out the videos that the band have been making. They're absolutely fantastic. And first question on videos for me is just, is that something that is still important to you? Because obviously you are putting the energy into creating them, even though, probably the cost versus reward in 2026 is maybe not there. There's obviously still, you still want to do that clearly.
So outside of the band, taking photos and making videos is my career. So it fortunately all the videos don't really cost money because we don't have much to reinvest into it a lot of the time. We have a strong idea and then we execute it and then we kind of work out how to make it happen on a shoestring. But the cost is just time a lot of the time, as in like because we're not paying someone on the hour, we can spend more time shooting it. We can break it up into multiple days because we're not employing someone to, what's going to be 4 day rates if you make me come and do this four different, in 4 different locations on 4 different days. So it is it's very much a labor of love. Um, but to me it is an additional way to express your band, especially if the ideas and that side of things are coming from us. It's not, we're not going to someone and be like, what would be a cool idea for this song? We're conceptualizing those ideas. And to me, I like the idea that, if someone discovers our band and they're like, oh, I wonder if they've got any music videos, there's like a another library that they can, like deep dive into if they want to and kind of get a bit more of an understanding of the band and what we're like as people. And, obviously we've had different members and they'll get to see that from the kind of earlier years. Um, and I just like it, I guess, like not in like a sleep token way or whatever, but like world building, around the band in a way that's not too deep.
Yeah, definitely. Like it is done for the love and it's done on a shoestring. The kicker video that just came out towards the end when we're going mad, the lights are all flickering, and that's either of us stood on a ladder flicking a torch around like this. That is what that is. And like the video for Hug Me, the first single from Cash Rich, all the people I bump into on the street. It's a girl I used to live with, Roxy. It's my friend Adam. It's just all these people that will like, we'll buy you a beer. Can you spare an afternoon? They're like, yeah, go on, mate. Do you know what I mean? Is it is. We try to make it look like there's a budget, but there is absolutely bugger all.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
closing down Queen's Road in Brighton. We're turning up with the cameras and the people, and people are just the people other than the ones that are interacting are just about their day. Do you know what I mean? We're just getting it done and just what do people say? Um, uh, Begging for forgiveness, not asking for permission. Do you know what I mean? We're just like
Yeah.
doing it and seeing what happens to get the shot.
I absolutely love it. I really, really, I do. And like it gives you, I mean, you talk about the Hug Me video again, like it's memories for yourselves, both in the creation of it, and again in years come by, you go and look at that, and you think, oh, my mate in there, my friends in there, like watch it. It's going to be, it's a fantastic, again, time capsule. I guess I mentioned that around the album, but it's like you say, another medium for fans to explore, for you to explore. So I love music videos, and I love that you've so passionately created these videos. And I did note down HD TV as well as obviously Gogglebox. I'm a fan of, and I love the concept for that and the way that you were able to put that into practice. It comes across so well. But how do you come up with ideas such as that?
Um, Honestly, it sort of varies from video to video. Sometimes I will see something that inspires me. Sometimes there'll just be a very like clear, I'll be listening to the song and be thinking about like videos and things will just be like instinctive, maybe like the in the Hug Me video, like Jim singing to the camera and all the people piling in and hug me is just a thing that I thought about. And then maybe like I re-saw the Bittersweet Symphony video and was like, wouldn't it be funny if Jim's trying to hug people rather than like him just smashing through people? Other times Jim will have like a seed of an idea and come to me and be like, the Jar Full of Wasps video. He was like, I can envision like plants and like a kind of outdoor scene, but it be created almost like a kid's sort of, like TV show or something, like uh, creative that's not supposed to look like real life. It's uh, supposed to be fantasy. And then there was like a cool Pale Waves video from a while back that had like a similar thing on a much bigger budget. That was meant to look a bit more realistic. That then, I kind of like use that as a bit of a reference point, and then we got the crochet flowers and some other fun. We kind of lent into that, but then it's more like I try to like make the videos at least have some kind of progression to them in terms of the ideas, or like a bit of a pet peeve of mine is where a video, the intro section to the song before the first verse is kicked in, you've seen the entire video, they've got cut to every single possible version. It's okay if you're like teasing bits, but if it's a performance
Yeah.
video, if you've seen all the camera angles by that point, then you're just watching those 8 camera angles for the next 3 minutes. Try and at least hold back some ideas and drip them out or build a kind of narrative or whatever. So um, I don't know if that answers your question, but
It's
honestly, it's sort of like there's a few different avenues in which the ideas come in, I think.
There is a shot just to quickly to sort of bullet to put a full stop on the end of this bit is that in the video for Jar Full of Wasps, there is a bit. about in the middle of the song, just before the final choruses, uh, and we had a drone to imitate a wasp, like we were being chased by a wasp. So if anyone cares to go back and watch the video, and that bit was just an absolute nightmare to film. The drone has built into it that it doesn't want to get too close to anything, right? So if it does, it will fly backwards away from the thing. So trying to get the shot of us convincingly, it was just like a total nightmare. And videos are a dying art where it is for the diehards, and you might get a few hundred views, which is appreciated anyway. But it's bloody hard work, so go watch them, you. Go watch.
Yeah, that it's not there's not an elaborate crew. There's us two and our friend Lee London, who's a photographer that's assisted on all but one of the videos on this campaign. Bless him, he's really worked hard. But it was my drone, which he's never flown before, and we don't have enough time to like really practice it. So I get it up and flying and make sure it's all working, whilst he goes and buys us the ice lollies for the scene, and then I have to teach him how to use it. But the ice lollies are melting, and like then the drone batteries only last 20 minutes each. We've got two batteries, then we're like the battery's running out, and then yeah, we do the test flights, and then when we're actually in front of it, like he says, it's like the kind of precautionary settings kick in and it just keeps like halting, but we don't want to turn the settings off because we don't want it to fly into the back of one of our heads and break the drone, break our head. There's all these things, and it's like a lot of these videos have situations where like there's just three people, if we're lucky, maybe like a fourth person, and we just have to work out how to make it happen in the time that we have. So yeah, and it's funny because it is, it can get a bit tense at the time, and you're knackered and you've done like a million takes, but you're also like involved in the behind the camera side as well as the, like the in front of the camera side, and it can be a bit of a frustrating dance, but you look back on all of them and you can like smile about the ridiculousness of it. So
I
yeah,
mean,
it's
yeah,
all good fun.
that is. I mean, as a music video, it's so fascinating to hear you talk about that, and I hope listeners again do go and watch these. For obviously all of the effort that you put into them. Yeah, it is fantastic. So, I mean, for me as a music video lover, thank you for doing that. Absolutely, and once listeners have checked them out, they need to come out and obviously check you out playing live. And great opportunity now. You've got the UK tour now kicking off. You've got EU dates as well, playing 2,000 Trees in the summer, my favorite festival in the world. So there's opportunities for fans to come and hear these songs live from Cash Rich. How excited are you to obviously now the album's out, go and play these songs to the people?
Very excited. We've been rehearsing a lot recently and playing some of these songs for the first time because we were conscious to save them because we wanted them to be fresh for everyone, but also fresh for ourselves. And it is a little bit nerve-wracking coming to tackle a song that you haven't played before because some songs are just difficult, not even technically difficult, but getting the mood and the vibe of the thing live is difficult. But it's all come together swimmingly, and it sounds great. It sounds really great. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The first date of this tour is tomorrow in Glasgow. We're going to Manchester. The weekend after that, we're in Bristol and Southampton. Weekend after that is Nottingham and London. Over to Germany in April for a tour. And then, I don't know, we're going to Spain at some point. We're going to Canada.
France in May, a
Mm.
few other bits going on. Yeah, we've packed into this tour. We've packed 75% of the record in without neglecting the back catalogue, where we've got quite a few short songs, so we've got a couple of long ones in there, and yeah, it is exciting playing new songs in a way that it's a bit scary. Like when you get to the end of a touring kind of period, you've got the set really locked in, and then changing that to start with, like it's like, oh, this doesn't feel good like it did before, but then you stick with it and you do it a few times, and you're like, okay, it's coming together now. So yeah, after yesterday's rehearsal, banging out the whole set, hour long, like two or three times, like it's feeling in a good spot. I'm excited to rip it. Yeah, for sure.
If people
Yeah.
discover Snake Eyes from this interview and they are undoubtedly very impressed by the music videos and the tunes, they will have their lives changed by coming to a Snake Eyes show. So grab your tickets now and we'll see you out there.
I mean, I echo that. So, I mean, I think I've caught you probably about 8 times now. Headline
Eight.
shows, festival shows, supporting. I mean, you've supported like so many like bucket list bands for yourselves. I must imagine, to have gone and played with so many great bands out there. So, I mean, yeah, having caught you so many times in different environments, always had a fantastic time. So, listeners, I echo what the gentlemen are saying. You really, really do need to pop along and catch a show. And it is we have Snake Eyes on social media, which is nice and easy. I always like to give the social handles out. A bit old-fashioned. I'd like to think most people are savvy enough to find you without me, but at least I've only got to read one out. Sometimes I've got to read like four out there. So you've smashed that at least. So links will be in the bio. Listeners, go follow the band on social media. Check out the tour dates, and please, if you can get to one of the shows on this tour or future tour for your own benefit, absolutely do that. So we're going to wrap up the podcast with the final question. Is always the same question. On the live subject. Bands such as yourselves, I've said how many times I've been able to catch you. That a lot of that depends on the ecosystem of grassroots music venues that are out there. And they're struggling. You don't own a music venue in 2026, an independent one at least, with the idea of really making money. You do it because you love music, you love live music. So I'm asking every band that comes on to give a shout out to a venue that's special to them, and I'll let you have one each. And I'm sort of collating a list, and my personal aim is to go and visit every single venue that gets mentioned on this podcast, because they are just so important to the future of live music. So, what venues would you love to give a shout out to on the podcast?
Do you want to go? Do you want me to go?
If you are ready to go, you can go first.
Tucked underneath the main Brighton train station, what used to be an old, I believe, a stable for horses and carriages, is the Green Door store. We played our first ever gig there just before lockdown happened. And I used to work there on the bar after lockdown, or just as, was it the Euros were happening at the time? Because they opened up
Mm,
the door and people could
Yeah,
watch
that's right.
the football, and
yeah,
I was serving people drinks at a distance and all that. And just incredible bands have come up through that venue, Lambrini Girls and Hot Wax and Snakes and Congratulations. And, it's like a real cultural hub in Brighton, which is where I live. And it is absolutely worth your time. It's all cobbled flooring and it's really loud and it's got a unique smell and vibe and loads of character. So check out Green Door Store for sure.
a great
Yeah,
one, Jim.
I would have. I let you go first because I thought we'd both probably say Green Door. My wife was the booker there for a long time and did loads of great stuff with the venue and Rossi Bar, their sister venue. Um, yeah, it would be nice to go back there and do a headline show at some point. We've
Mm.
played there a couple of times, and yeah, we did like a test. It's like a test gig basically to see if we enjoyed it and if it worked. Because Jim had never fronted a band before; he'd always been the drummer, and and Nicole that was playing with us at the time had never played the bass guitar. She learnt the instrument to play in the band. It was really like an experiment.
Yeah,
And we did it, and we walked off stage, and we're like, "Yeah, we're going to do this." Like, it really worked for us, even if it was a bit scary. So yeah, I guess I would have gone there too. Um, my favorite venue when I was young was the Underworld in Camden. I went there to see all sorts of different bands, lots of heavy bands. We've been fortunate enough to play there a few times at this point. That would be a nice one to tick off as a headliner one day, I think. And then, but bucket list to play would be Brixton Academy. I know that's a bigger venue, but I would love to for us to play there one day. Something about the big wide flat
mm,
floor is amazing. But I actually live in Hastings now, so I want to shout out the Piper, the Pig. Has some really nice venues and a really great music scene in Hastings surrounding the likes of Kid Kapichi and Hot Wax, and even Nova Twins live there. Matt from Dinosaur Pileup lives there. There's people, whether they're
yeah,
based there or not, there's lots of musicy people in Hastings. So yeah, shout out those spots. Um, yeah, any others
yeah.
to mention?
Uh, Honorable mentions to the Boiler Room in Guildford, It's a
Yeah.
banger. Saw great shows and played great shows. My first band played with the computers there many years ago, and they absolutely blew my head off. Um,
Joiners in Southampton's
Joiners.
another great one. Like yeah, that Joiners was my nearest what I would call like proper
Mm.
venue when I was young. And then when I was a little bit older, the Boiler Room was my nearest proper venue. So I've spent a lot of time in both of those places before moving to Brighton and then spending a lot of time in the Green Door. So they're probably like, other than
Yeah.
ones that, like you mentioned, sadly don't exist anymore. They're the three that are still doing it that are close to our hearts, aren't they? One more.
Yeah.
Finally, for me, it is rare in the UK to get given a hot meal
Mm.
as a band when you get to a venue, and the Cavern in Exeter
Let's go.
always do it, and they are lovely people, and the show's great,
Mm.
and yeah, I always love going down to Exeter to play at the Cavern. So shout out to them.
You know
Lots of
you're getting
Yeah.
pizza, chips, and salad,
that's
and
right.
I'm cool with
Amazing.
that. Do you know what I mean? You can't mess that up. You can't not be like there's always going to be a smile on your face when you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I cooked up some chips, there's some salad, there's pizza each. Like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, the people that run these venues are amazing people. They really, really are. And some great venues that you've shouted out there. And again, listeners, you've probably heard me say this if you listen to obviously regularly to the podcast. Find these venues. Every town and city is got hopefully something there that you can build a scene around. Go and help start that scene. Absolutely. The music industry wouldn't exist without these grassroots venues. So important. And go check out these venues. Go check out Snake Eyes on tour. Listen to Cash Rich. Watch the videos. They're my final messages here for the listeners. But I always give the final message to the guests. So, how would you like to end the podcast today?
I'm just going to quickly say, you say you're from East Anglia area. Okay, so shout out Voodoo Daddies, shout out the
Great venue.
Smokehouse, shout out Waterfront, Epic Studios. That still exist?
Yeah, that's there. Yeah, that's
That'll do a
smashing it
good
at the
gig.
moment.
I know,
Yeah.
I know it's like a TV studio, but yeah. So I wanted to shout out those quickly. How would you like to end this, Jim?
Um, be kind to each other. Um, share the love. Don't be a prick. We love you. Take care of yourselves.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. I really do hope you enjoyed that chat there with Snake Eyes. Do make sure you check out Cash Rich and follow the band across social media to stay up to date with everything coming from them. You can also stay up to date with Full Pelt on Facebook at Full Pelt and X and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. Finally, from me, if you would please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening, because we'll be back very soon with another episode of the Full Pelt Music Podcast.